Answer. Because you are that, you are capable. You are gifted and you are so unique. All of the things that you may hate about yourself are your strengths. It's okay to be soft. It's okay to be opinionated. It's okay to be different. And it's so okay to just be you. The world awaits to receive you.
Hello, hello, hello. Can I get an amen? Yes, I am back. Y'all know that's my favorite intro. Coming in like a Chucky doll, bride of Chucky, bride of the Most High. I hope you guys are having a great Wednesday. Today we have a special broadcast. As you know, we have been keeping track of the YSL case, what's going on. And yes, Miss Grace Levi have been watching the trial to its um totality. Watching everything, even when they're on breaks, reading the comments, seeing what people thinking about. So on today's episode and other lives that we do, we're going to talk about what's going on, kind of like in real time with the YSL case, kind of breaking it down from my perspective. If you have an opinion, I'd love for you to share your comment at the bottom, especially if you're following the YSL trial, okay? Because this trial you can learn a lot from. A lot of these new trials that's going on are pretty much setting precedents for more things to unravel in the future. So we're going to talk about that. We kind of talked about setting precedents, what that means, and how a precedent was actually set in the Tasha K case versus Cardi B. Now you can see that there are many stars and celebrities that are going after one or another, or bloggers or YouTube content creators. So that's going to be another live that we talk about the list of people being hunted through the judicial system now. Okay, so congratulations, Cardi B. Congratulations. And I say that sarcastically. We're going to kind of talk about in later broadcasts how I feel about her continued pursuit of Tasha K. Right is right, wrong is wrong, but we're going to talk about it. Okay, we're going to talk about it because at the end of the day, baby, her feelings must be really hurt, or she's very vindictive, and that is to Cardi B. But this live is not about that. You already know how I feel. I don't like people who kind of like basically pretend that they're not bullies, but then use their muscle to kind of like really put pressure on people's neck, to the point that you're choking them out. And I don't appreciate that. Okay, so anyway, let's move on. So today we're going to actually have two parts. It's going to probably be more than two parts, but we already got the next part set up for next week because today we're probably going to be live for about 2.5 hours or so. I have 2 hours worth of clip. We're going to kind of try to move through it. All information that we're using for information and educational purposes only. So let me put this up right now. Yes, this is for information and educational purposes only. All we're doing is sharing our commentary in related to a real live court case highlighting the state of Georgia against the artist known as YSL. So we're going to be actually showing content from Law and Crime Network. So I'm going to shout them out from the beginning, Law and Crime Network, because this is the entity on YouTube who is actually in the court, has rights to record what's going on. You already know that the judge is very funny because we had that other not witness, we had that other juror that basically got locked up. She's like, I gotta go to jail. I don't gotta pay the fine. Do y'all remember? You go to the YSL case, you possibly gonna get locked up. So we're gonna stay right here on the side and we're gonna watch and we're gonna have our commentary about it. Cause baby, whew, Georgia courts to have you like help me. Okay. So shout out to Law and Crime. So let's get this started. Today we're gonna be focusing on motions as well as expert witness. So this live is going to be focused on a motion that we're following up with, and that motion was actually the prosecutor. I'm sorry, the public defender on the YSL side wanting to be dismissed from the case. So we're going to follow through on her actual motion because that had to be heard by the judge. And that kind of went left and right because the judge tried to flex a little muscle but end up not being really correct. So that situation we're going to be talking about first, and then we're going to go into talking about who is Eric Nelson and what does he represent as an expert witness. Now, there are key elements related to Eric Nelson that are able to be highlighted in this case. Now, while we evaluate what's going on in this case, we're going to be able to kind of have a better determination of possibly the outcome. That's why we're doing these lives, because I can remember during the Tory Lanez trial, it became a woman against man thing, and it was just like a whole bunch of feelings and emotions. And one thing I really wanted to just get my point across when that was going on was that we have to deal with emotional intelligence and also understand what's going on in our judicial system, because no matter what, we are being burnt in the judicial system. So you need to know what's going on, how to maneuver, what is what, and have a real perspective of actually the system that you're liable to know about. And what I mean that liable to know about, every law in the United States, every citizen is allegedly liable to know, no matter if they don't know, which means ignorance of the law doesn't mean that you're excused. Okay. Yeah. That's why you got Ashley here, Grace Levi. We're going to be going over this. This is my type of stuff. Okay. It's a little dry, but now it applies to the Black community. Y'all, I be seeing just so many different people watching the live. I'm like, yes, get into it. We got to understand about our rights. So that's why I'm here. Okay, baby. So we're going to be talking about two things today. Who is Eric Nelson, and what specifically do the defendant's lawyers want him to be able to testify on? Okay, because as an expert witness, you're going to be giving certain perimeters to actually be able to testify on based on your expertise. So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to come back Saturday too. Saturday we're going to be talking about this prosecutor, because that lady is getting on my nerves, my whole nerves, my last nerves, my final nerves. So this is the first part where they're going to be going into the motion about the lawyer who is trying to get herself off of the case. Okay. So I wanted to show this because as you can see our buddy old pals. This is them in the courtroom. Someone was asking why they actually had like headphones on. These are some of the defendants. Go. You get to see them. So we're going to show you some of the defendants that's in the courtroom. And they're keeping themselves entertained, as well as some proceedings they're not supposed to hear and they can't leave because a lot of them are incarcerated. So they put the headphones on their head. Water into wine, guys. We got a long broadcast. All right, so let's get it. Let's move forward. Let's see why it's look at him. Look at him. Stressing. Who's this guy? I don't know these people names, so y'all have to tell me who these people are, okay? I know. It's okay. Now I know who he is. Look at him. That's why he said he's stressing. Half the stuff that's going on in this trial will have me stressing too. Just being in court is stressful, guys. And I really need people to take that in consideration. It is not a joke. Okay. All right, so let's move forward. Now we're going to get into the actual judge. He is going to be talking about the motions he's going to be hearing and what ended up coming up. What ended up happening, just to give you a heads up, is that the judge has a right to move forward with the motions that he's going to hear first. Now, this is all pre-trial. They're still going to be picking jurors and things like that. But right now, they have a lot of motions that they need to put forward, what's going to be in the trial, and actually discovery, because that's one of the things that they addressed tonight, too. It seems like the defendants' lawyers are having some issues getting discovery, okay?
Permitted to enter the courtroom?
Is that Miss?
Natalie Glazer?
Yes, Miss Glazer may be welcome.
If we may have Miss Glazer.
Yes, can you summon Miss Glazer?
So Miss Glazer has
Your Honor.
something
Hold on 1 second, and I'll
Miss Glazer has something to do with the actual public defender trying to get off the
say the
case.
same thing for her. Just give me a second.
Let's move forward.
Pursuant to Mondi versus Magnolia Advanced Materials, Inc., that's 300 Georgia, 764, Supreme Court of Georgia, as well as Uniform Superior Court Rules 25-1, 2, and 3. It is the court's requirement to take up the motion to recuse first, which I will do, and rule upon that. And depending upon
Now, this is his tone. Okay, he be getting a little bit annoyed, but I'm gonna give it to the judge. Okay, I'm monitoring his character and his behavior. Okay, so he trying to be a little bit
a rule that will determine whether or not we need to go forward on the motion to quash or the motion to withdraw. So I'm going to deal with that to begin with. But let me go ahead and put a couple things on the record to begin with, and then I'll kind of deal with the motion to recuse. I'm going to take judicial notice of the following, and that is the court's docket, electronic docket and Odyssey, and that will be marked as Court's Exhibit 292. And for the relevant discussions as it relates to the motion to recuse, there are some filings on the docket that the court will just acknowledge and then attach for purposes of the record, some of which may not have anything to do, but this gives us a timeline because one of the things in the motion to recuse is the timeline.
Okay, so this the reason why I'm highlighting this, because the people who really watching this trial, I want you to understand what he's trying to do. One, it sounds like he's trying to come up with some type of alleged reason to deny the motion. Now, this is a procedural thing that he's talking about. So he's talking about the timeline of the filing of when it was put in, okay? As well as he's going to get into a little bit of the person that the public defender has summoned to court. Her representative is going to go back and forth with him about kind of the way he conduct court, how things are being dragged along. He's not saying it all in them words, but I'm gonna break it down for you.
It has to be established. So on 4/10/23, there is a motion to withdraw, and so the Court's Exhibit 292 will be the electronic docket printout. Court's Exhibit 294 will be the motion to withdraw.
Let's move forward because he's talking about the motions. I want to get to the good stuff.
And then 302.
These the motions that they're going to be hearing in order. I'll keep up with that for you guys.
Then on the 28th, the requirement of Mondi requires this court before, and that's why it's sequence counsel's.
So what he's trying to do is go reference the law to basically try to say that their motions are late. Okay, so just kind of listen. Come on, baby.
This court to cease, along with 25.1. All motions to recuse or disqualify a judge presiding in a particular case or proceeding shall be timely filed in writing, and all evidence thereon shall be presented accompanied by affidavit or affidavits which shall fully assert the facts upon which the motion is founded. Filing and presentation to the judge shall not be later than 5 days after the affiant first learned of the alleged grounds for disqualification, and not later than 10 days prior to the hearing or trial which is the subject of the recusal or disqualification, unless good cause shown for failure to meet such time requirements. In no event shall the motion be allowed to delay the trial or proceeding.
Okay, so this is, if you don't understand who's trying to get something dismissed, basically it's the motion that the public defender put in to recuse herself. What she did was actually petition a representative of the prosecutor's office. And that person whose contract between her and the prosecutor's office is trying to say, I'm the wrong person. I don't have nothing to do with this. So what he's talking about is the specific actual time frame when she filed the document, this representative that's going to come up, and he's going to go back and forth with the lawyer, the lawyer. He's going to go back and forth with the judge to highlight how the judge's motion timeline delayed things and the actual Georgia system. Okay, yeah.
2 sets forth the requirements for the affidavit. The affidavit shall clearly state the facts and reasons for the belief that bias or prejudice exists, being definite and specific as to time, place, persons, and circumstances of extrajudicial conduct or statements, which demonstrate either bias in favor of any adverse.
Come on, baby. He reading the law, y'all.
Ways. Moving on, I'll also note for purpose of the record, Mr. Schiffer, that last Thursday, which would have been the 27th, we were taking up some other matters, and that you interrupted this court.
Okay.
I'm going to include
now.
that.
Listen, you see how he said you interrupted this court. Now I'm highlighting these things because the gentleman is going to come back and represent himself, but he's going to say in the manner that he's going to check the judge without having an attitude, guys. That's why we're watching this, okay? Because I'm learning too, because I'll be in court with the judge and I'll be like, and they be like, you okay, ma'am? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. They would read all on my face. So we're going to be playing spades here too, you know. Let's go.
The next court exhibit in order, the transcript from the accepted portion of the proceedings before this court on the 27th of April. I started court. I called roll, and we were about to take up the very first witness.
The paper was filed on 4/10. Okay, the motion was filed on 4/10. On 4/27, it still wasn't addressed. The gentleman came into court to try to get the motion addressed. Now, let me just give you a heads up. When you have a motion, you can't forward it to the secretary of the judge prior to the day or the day of, so he can kind of have it on his docket of what he's going to be seeing and hearing. It was on his docket, meaning not specifically written in, but he knew that this particular motion was going in and he chose to ignore it. Let's go in. So we know it was started on 4/10, then about 4/27, he said that's when the guy came in and interrupted his court.
Witness that we had recalled, who was coming from Virginia back, who was from Virginia originally, I should say. And you asked me to wish to be heard on the issue of the subpoena. And you told me at that point in time, you've entered an appearance on behalf of this morning regarding a motion to quash on a subpoena brought by Misty Williams at a break, if Your Honor has a few minutes to discuss. I said, I don't believe we're hearing that until the 1st of May. Yes, Judge, I believe that that was the date where Director Ali has been summoned to court for the subpoena. The court.
So he's telling the judge, I'm trying to get a motion to squash before the actual court date. That's usually how it's supposed to work. But this judge said, we're not hearing that until the 1st. Okay.
She'll have to come for that date, and we can argue a motion at that time. And if it's unavailable for us to be heard on the quash, she has other items. Me, no, sir, she's going to have to come and show up for that day. You can tell her you asked, but that's the day I set. She doesn't have any special authorities, or otherwise she's going to have to show up on that date.
You see, he's reading his own statement of what he said, and you can hear the tone. She doesn't have no special authorities. She's going to have to show up.
In time, and you said thank you, and then I said appreciate you coming by. It's good to see you. So, when you put in your
Bad attitude.
Your affidavit,
Get to it, Judge. You trying to figure it out. He's trying to figure it out now. He like, did I say that?
that I immediately and explicitly denied your request to address the pending motion and directed you to have Director Ali appear on Monday the 1st per the subpoena.
So basically what he's reading is that I think that person who was representing her put in motions with other judges or try to get the other judges to sign off on a motion, but you have to have an intake form. So that intake form, he put the reason why he's trying to request for another judge to do so. What he was just reading is what his colleagues read about him, is that I've been trying to get this motion to squash, but this is what the judge said. And that's exactly what he said.
I don't think you're being totally truthful.
Because now, see, he's there. I don't think you're being totally truthful by writing this document and submitting it with my name on me about me. That is the most scariest thing for people who works in this system. Take a note, okay? So take it out, write a picture, send it in, and that's what he did. So it made you see what is. I don't think that's totally true. Oh, it's true. You just read the transcripts of what you said.
As you know, I have to decide on any. So
here you go. Here's the excuses. I have to do this. This is my job. I gotta do this. At the end of the day, it's still order of priority. You're gonna listen to him because I'm gonna tell you I understand order of priority. And sometimes new task comes up that needs to be addressed before old task that was on the list because they are priority. They're significant to the sequence of the case. Now, if you move forward to hear the actual terms or the situation of the case before actually listening to a motion to dismiss, it's backwards. But if you listen to that motion to dismiss or acquit on the day that you were supposed to hear the trial or whatever, that is actually prolonging the proceedings. Okay? Does that make sense? This is what this judge is doing.
Particular motion to
I don't know why.
To begin with. I have to decide that first. And I didn't tell you I wasn't going to hear it. I just told you I couldn't hear it then. Look, when you came in and interrupted my proceedings.
He keeps saying you interrupted my proceedings. Watch.
I couldn't hear it Friday in advance of this particular hearing on Monday because I had almost 400 jurors from Group 6 of this particular trial. So that's why.
Now, I don't think it was 400 jurors inside of the court because I heard people, they was reading about, they was like 400 jurors. Oh my God. They wasn't all at the court. You have calling. So they will call the jurors' names. People don't show up. And the ones that are there, those are the ones that they pull up. And then you have to start asking them questions. So there is a long proceeding, but it's not 400 jurors that's there. Okay.
I said, and that's why I told you the sequencing. Ordinarily, had you not filed the motion to recuse, which you're entitled to do so, we would hear the motion to quash first, And then whether or not your client was here or not, then I would make certain decisions about that. So I don't think from the face of your affidavit, you're being totally candid with the court about that. Because I never told you I wasn't going to hear the motion. I was just going to hear the motion on Monday at 1 o'clock prior to hearing anything else. Then I got the motion to recuse, which was filed on the 28th. And that in your, so that's why I'm telling you.
So first, the motion to squash was basically on the terms of what I believe the process. I mean, the public defender was going to actually rescind herself, recuse herself. So when she petitioned that lady who we're about to see, they put in a motion to squash because it was like they try to do it as inadequate. But I guess by the 28th, as he said, it was a motion to recuse. This was the person that the public defender who is trying to get out of the case, who she petitioned. So they changed the motion the next on the 28th. Okay. But the first motion could have been heard. Okay. So if the first motion was heard, they probably could have addressed the fact that day or any day after the 10th that representative may have not been the right representative, this, that, and the third. It is just all prolonging. And you hear him talking, chucking and jiving, talking about, I don't think that was a good representation. Because when you write it, they fell away.
This particular timing is an issue in this particular case. It's an issue in this case because
Look at it. Put your
you
glasses
have to
on.
file it within 5 days of.
So he's trying to find some way to find fault in the person's filing. I'm gonna try to move forward. He didn't.
The
5 days, 3 days.
I'm also going to also just state for the record that given the timeline and given the filings of Ms. Glazier, you all are way beyond. You're beyond the 10 days that you got that no later than 10 days prior to the hearing. So you could have filed a motion to recuse at the same time you filed a motion to quash, and in your affidavit.
See, now he's saying, well, you should have did the recuse the same time you did the motion to quash. And I think they had a different direction of strategy because they can't really recuse. They can't watch what happens. They can't recuse because the actual prosecutor, the public defender, she got some grounds. Okay. So they really can't. They can't motion to quash. They can do a motion to recuse that person who she summons the court.
Which accompanies the recusal motion has to be legally sufficient. It's got to contain the 3 affidavits essential.
So he's saying what it's supposed to do.
Essential elements.
The elements.
Motion to quash.
Now listen to this.
Hasn't been corrected as of.
This is the guy I'm talking about right here.
13th, but if you tell me the 17th, it still wouldn't meet the 10 days.
I'm just clarifying it for the record.
Okay, sir. Anything else?
Yes, sir.
He about to break it down.
Please.
He like, I'm not letting you do that.
Then, subsequent to that 417 filing, Ms. Glazier filed her response on Mr. Williams on 425, correct?
No, 419. Motion to quash subpoena?
Or the motion to quash was filed then on 419.
Yes, sir.
Then the response from Ms. DeWilliams was filed on 425. That's number 301.
He mentioned that.
You're correct.
And then that is when I became aware of the situation sometime around 425, 426, when I had my initial conversations, and that's a statement I'm making to the court. I then entered an appearance the morning of 427.
Okay.
Through e-file. And that was last Thursday morning, and you are correct. I appeared in front of your honorable court, and I don't have any reason to doubt.
So he's going to talk about him showing up in the court, but let me just clarify something. The first filing to quash was 410. He didn't do it. So whoever respond to the initial public defender's request to actually rescind herself, and then the proceedings had to involve her actual office, that was on 410. He knew about things on 425, when the judge wasn't responding to that motion, I think that's when he started pushing through. On 425, he got wind of it. He's telling you on 426, he put an e-filing in. And by 427, next day he was in court like, baby, I'm here. I'm trying to get my my motion to actually rescind. Yeah, get her out of it. It wasn't to quash no more. They went a new direction because obviously whoever responded the first time wasn't responding right.
The accuracy of the transcript in any way. However, I appeared unannounced.
Okay, so he said, "I'm okay." Listen, guys. So this is how you handle a judge if you don't know how to. He's gonna check the judge, but not get smart because the judge is wrong.
E-file. And that was last Thursday morning, and you are correct. I appeared in front of your honorable court, and I don't have any reason to doubt the accuracy of the transcript in any way. However, I appeared unannounced, without an appointment, and no other way to reach the court other than to appear in order to pursue the pending motion to quash for today's date.
Did you try and email me?
No, sir. I prefer personal interaction as much as possible. It was a timely issue, and I know how busy Your Honor is.
Well, I keep email up most all day.
First and foremost, emailing a judge is not typical. A judge, you don't email a judge directly. I don't know what they got going on around here in Georgia. That's why I'll be over here watching these court cases, trying to figure the hell out. They're not supposed to do that. Now, as I told you, if he wanted to have communication with the judge, he could have talked to the judge's secretary through the judge's chambers, okay? Instead of appointment or call, but not directly. So this is a little side. This is some Georgia. It's only happening in Georgia.
Days, and I mean, I'm just wondering why you didn't try and email me or attempt to reach chambers.
I wouldn't want to make an ex parte communication, Judge.
Thank you.
No,
okay, you hear what he called it? It's called the ex parte communication. That's what I just, I don't want to say nothing because you know what? Because they're going to be like, we're going to get her when she ever in court. She tell her everything. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to email the judge. Now, people can write letters to the judge on the behalf of somebody who's about to be sentenced, and that's something different. But this is supposed to be non-biased. This is supposed to be a non-biased system. So every type of communication is supposed to be a way that is supposed to be tracked. I'm not saying through email it won't be tracked, but it's not supposed to be directly to the judge. You and the judge ain't friends, okay? You ain't friends. Like Hillary Clinton emails and shit. Them emails.
If you wanted a hearing, you certainly could have gone up and saw the court's staff attorney, Mr. Kearns, or you could have seen the court's litigation manager, Mr. Chamberlain, to see if we could schedule you a particular hearing.
I'll note that for the future, Judge.
That wouldn't have.
So the litigation manager is probably equivalent to the secretary.
Been ex parte because all you're doing is trying to get a hearing at that point in time.
Well, I did things the way that I've done it, which is to show up and ask in person because I feel that it's the best and most direct and clear, unambiguous way to indicate to the court that there's a pending issue. And I appeared and waited to be called on by Your Honor.
Yeah.
I stood up right there and waited to be called.
Right there.
At which point I announced that I was here on a pending motion to quash for today's date. And as you just read from the record, I would just quote the record that was not going to get heard and that we were to be here on the 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And there was no ifs, ands, or buts suggestions to the otherwise.
What you said, Judge.
Yes, but
that refusal, Your Honor.
No, sir. No, sir. I'm going to just cut you off at this point in time. That's not a refusal to hear your motion. That's just a refusal to hear it at that point in time. I just didn't have time for you at that point. And as you know, from having been a lawyer for probably more than 2 decades at this point in time,
if somebody else come in his court, he not letting them in late. He holding them in contempt. But he could have all these excuses. You see what I'm saying? He said, I didn't refuse. I just refused to hear it at that time. Watch what the lawyers say, nice and easy.
The court would have to, as a matter of course, have to take up the motion to quash first. That would be error for me not to.
I wish I could act like
so I never told you And that's why the record is clear. Never told you I wasn't going to hear
Record is clear. You got
the motion to
attitude,
quash.
sir.
I would be derelict in my duty if I didn't. I'd also be derelict if I didn't hear your motion to recuse to begin with, because that's the timing wise, that's the right and proper order. So I did not in any way.
So wait
tell you-
a minute. Now I'm not gonna go back and press rewind because I don't know exactly the timeline, but he specifically said the way that we're gonna hear this is a motion to quash, then a motion to recuse. And now he's coming back to say, well, the way it's supposed to be done is the motion to recuse, then a motion to squash, and it changing it up. Okay? Y'all gonna have to rewind and listen to it because I know what he said. Oh my God. Hold on. I hit the thing.
Has been manifested.
Hold on.
To having in my role as the chief judge. So, Mr. Schiffer, again, as I told you, it wasn't for lack of, because I didn't want to hear your motion before anything further. I certainly would have taken that up because the court does understand that certain state officials are busy, but I told you in the abundance of that I was going to have to take it up on the first, and as you can see what I was doing, it was not for any desire to hear your case. It's just that I just didn't have any time.
Okay, so let me just explain this to you why it's important for this judge to actually speak like this and talk. Because if there's a appeal and they have to take this to a higher court, this judge's behavior is going to be scrutinized by a higher level court. So if there's a situation like this where this judge is just, being hostile, I'm not saying he's being hostile, but being a buckus and making things harder and difficult, they're going to take that in consideration. He don't want any tarnishing on his record as far as him not doing procedural things correctly. And this is a procedural error. That's the only reason why he's shucking and jiving. I'm just letting y'all know. The best way to get anything or anybody in court, official, anybody, is procedural. A lot of people do things and they don't do it to their totality. And if you understand procedural law and things are missing, as I talked to you about, then you got them. So if the judge didn't do what he's supposed to do, this will be something that be considered against his conduct. Okay, that's why he's shucking and jiving. That's the only reason why.
I absolutely understand the lack of appropriate resources is a chronic problem in our judicial system, and I understand it better than most. Not as well as Your Honor, but I understand it very well that there's a distinct lack of resources, and that's the kind of core what we're talking about here. Judge, just to continue so the record is clear, over the weekend I didn't hear anything from any parties associated with this, and therefore this morning I showed up again in person. I found that Your Honor wasn't holding court here, so I then availed myself of Judge Krause, who is the assigned presiding judge this week. I went up and spoke with her staff attorney. As I understand, her staff attorney and the judge decided that yes, since it involves a recusal motion involving you and a motion to quash involving you, it had to go back to you.
So let's pause here. This is how the other judges got involved, and that's why he's shucking and jiving, because they asked him, like, why didn't you do that? And he's black too, so they riding his ass. So why you couldn't get to it? I don't understand why they came to my office for me to do that. That we're just not gonna just do that because we want to make sure that you have control over your case. That's what they said. But in the back of their mind, they like, look at him fucking up. Let me stop. I'm sorry. That's what they did. So his judging friends, they wouldn't sign off on the motion for him. Excuse my language. I won't curse no more. But they wouldn't sign off on the motion for him. And that's what he's talking about. Okay.
So I was then referred back to your office, and I spoke with one of your staff members this morning, communicated with them, and was told that you are not going to hear anything until 1 o'clock, and there was no forum or venue or any other way that we could be heard on the motion to quash the subpoena for 1 o'clock until 1 o'clock.
Yeah, because I had a civil calendar this morning, a bench trial civil calendar this morning.
I'm not,
as well as other administrative matters that I'm required to, having in my role as the chief judge. So, Mr. Schiffer, again, as I told you, it wasn't for lack of, because I didn't want to hear your motion before 1 o'clock
Okay,
on
so
the first.
just to sum up this part, because we're gonna move forward, because basically what they're gonna do, they're trying to get this lady right here recused, because her position in the prosecutor's office is just a contractor between the actual, the public defender office. I do apologize. Is the contractor between the public defenders and contracting lawyers, or the new students that come out or whatever, things like that, and they get a caseload. And I know there's a certain number of cases you're supposed to do before you can consider to have your own practice or even be a prosecutor. So they go through these agencies, such as what this lady has, which is government, kind of like government contractor agencies, to get these people in these positions. So this is why she's trying to get herself out. She's like, girl, I don't pay you. I'm the middleman. I'm kind of pushing through this a little bit because it's like 2 hours of information for this, but I want to kind of give you a synopsis of what's going on with this young lady right here and him. Okay. But they don't have a ground to quash, only recusal. Okay.
I just ran out of space.
Shut up. Let me stop before I run into this judge and his ass will kiss
for a subpoena. And it's very unworkable to only hear that after the hardship of the subpoena has been manifested.
Thank you.
And we are now here and we're ready to.
So basically what he's saying is that, okay, I kind of went forward on this. Basically what he's saying is that when you're subpoenaed to a case, no matter criminal, ticket, whatever, you have a chance to respond. Sometimes the tickets that you respond when you go to actually the first hearing, you don't really write a letter back. But when you're getting a lawsuit, you'll write your response. That response starts to actually move forward to make synchronized dates for them to hear these particular matters before the actual trial or the lawsuit begins. So for him to not hear the motion before the actual proceeding was going to begin related to this topic was not correct, and it was procedural. And that's what he's saying. You need to understand that as well, okay? And I'm just going to go and branch over to the side, because I teach real estate too. We're going to put a commercial on. But even with real estate, if you're about to lose your home and they send you a letter and you respond, and they don't give you a time to have a hearing, and they just move forward and give you a court date to seize your home, you can actually get the proceedings delayed because you didn't get a chance to go through mediation, which is a procedural error. Okay. Some people, I know this because as a tax lien investor, I can't foreclose on properties that have people inside without having those type of steps done. They have to be put on notice, given their time according to law, and then we have to have mediation. All procedures. Okay. We learning a lot here. Y'all know I like to teach. Okay. Let's go.
But I hope the court understands the frustration that many hours of effort were put into something as easy as a request to prevent this all from happening, because there was a pending motion to quash for a subpoena, and it's very unworkable to only hear that after the hardship of the subpoena has been manifested. And we are now here and we're ready to proceed with the motion to quash. I would ask that the motion to quash.
No, that ain't first.
Be first.
Yeah, that's what I indicated.
I'm just making sure.
In terms of timing, I did the motion to recuse. I ruled upon that.
It's not going to be quashed.
So I'm now going to hear the motion to quash, and then I will let you know whether or not your client, Miss Ali, is even.
She's already there. He's like, she's already here. So why the hell will I put a motion to rescind when she's here already? Let's move over with the motion to quash, because his ass is trying to go back. Well, since she's here, let's just go over the motion to rescind. Why she want to rescind herself, prolonging this court matter. Do you think the judge get paid every day he go to court? Huh? I know he ain't on one salary. I wonder how they get paid. I done looked that up. I know they ain't got one salary. You think they get bonuses? Okay. I'm just asking questions here because it sounds like he's prolonging it a little bit.
to be present anymore.
This is
So
a long ass case.
if it's okay with you, Mr. Shepard, Ms. Glazer, I'll go ahead and hear the motion to quash this point in time. I believe that since the motion's been filed.
So the motion to quash is going to be consistent of okay, hold on. You gonna see this lady right here? She's gonna come up. This is the public defender that's trying to get up out of there. So they're gonna, before this happens, we're gonna I'm gonna tell you what happens. So before she talks, let's listen. I can go back to 45. Okay. Motion to quash.
Respond to that because she does have the burden.
So now that she's there, he's like, well, you want to respond? Because you do have the burden to respond now that you're here. She's like, well, why not? I didn't want to be here, but now I'm here. So let's see what she got to say.
Initial burden of showing the documents are relevant.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll just stand on my motion as far as my argument to hear what Ms. Ali could possibly have to offer the court that couldn't be available through me or someone else. I believe it would be very limited testimony anyway as to how much she's being paid. But we do argue that the subpoena was presented to the director under false pretenses, as I explained in the motion, and that she shouldn't be required to attend.
Okay, let me, if you want to flesh out your argument, that's fine, but I have read your motion. I believe that you've indicated 3 grounds.
Okay, so basically she's saying that the prosecutor, the public defender has put in a motion, but the motion she puts in is under false pretenses. She could put probably something like discrimination, you're not paying me because I'm a woman, these things. So if they can prove that that's false pretenses, that her actual stance is not validated. Now, if she can prove that, okay, this prosecutor is getting this amount of much money for this type of case, this high volume case, this, that, and the third. Okay. So this is where she's saying that what she filed and what she says has no relevance. Like, you may be right in your court case, but if you don't execute it right on the paper, just like what they did with the Tasha K case, where she was supposed to be able to appeal and she still can't appeal. You still could appeal, girl. Okay. Go talk to the black lawyer. But this is what they're supposed to do, okay? This is what they're supposed to do. Put exactly what they were stating, their argument in clear and concise manner related to a law, precedents, or whatever, okay? You had to have some backing to it, okay? And the law, if you want to quote anything when you're in Georgia court, it better be from Georgia. Baby, Georgia don't listen to nobody else but Georgia, even though that ain't right, okay? I'm just letting you know, because some other states will let you quote cases from other states, as long as it's on a state level. Georgia don't want to hear that shit. So no, I'm just playing. You can sometimes, but you better have a good judge that's just not a Atlanta bulldog. Don't see anything but Atlanta.
The subpoena is unreasonable and oppressive. The executive director has no relevant evidence to present, and the motion doesn't seek the relief it prays for. Is there anything else I'm missing, madam?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Mr.
So what it's saying is that the motion does not consist of the factors for what it's asking for. She has to put the right things in there, okay?
Williams, madam, since it's your burden,
Gotta
in this
argue
particular
right.
case, since this has been filed, you have the initial burden of showing
Now,
what documents you're
This
looking
is the
for,
the public
or
defender.
this particular testimony is relevant.
She like, I ain't gonna pay enough for this shit. Her favorite color, green. Look at her.
So I didn't ask the director to bring any documents, so this shouldn't have been burdensome or oppressive. Her office is only 0.3 miles away. If she was to walk here, it'd only take 7 minutes, 1 minute by car. The whole basis of the motion to withdraw is the pay. And according to 17-12-5, the director shall maintain proper records of all financial transactions related to the operation of the council. So she is the proper person to speak of regarding my pay.
Oh,
But I believe that Ms. Glazer has indicated that she's the contracting, basically, official, that meaning that she enters into the contracts to get you all paid. Is that correct?
I'm not sure. I asked for a meeting, they didn't give me one.
Is that correct, madam?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm in charge of the contracts.
they said fuck
So
that black girl.
that's she indicated in her filings that she was more than willing to talk with the court and the parties as to anything
Not
as it
before.
relates to financial aspect.
And then also, the director shall solicit, accept on behalf of the council any funds that may become available from any source, including the government, nonprofit, or private grants, gifts, or bequests. So she would be the one who have to answer whether she did that as well.
Oh, this shit about to get. Ooh, let's see. Okay, there may be another investigation. I watched this, but now I'm watching it again. You know, sometimes you're watching, you see something else. Something is going on in the public defender's office, and people may not be getting paid as much as they supposed to. She said that this person is in charge of all the funds that comes in, not just the main funds for comes from the government, but comes from other sources as well that's supposed to be allocated properly. So that by petitioning them and they having to either raise her pay or show why they not, and that has to be done through substantial evidence, meaning this is how much our books is, this is how much we get paid, this is how much the average cost for public defenders, this is how much Mrs. is getting paid. That is the only way that they're going to win, and she don't get herself off the case, and she can highlight some type of pay discrimination allegedly. I don't know why I was like, oh, did I just hear that? Did they just say that? Because you know there's some other shit going on in Georgia, right? Now, it kind of hurt my feelings hearing her talk. I'm just going to keep it real because no matter if you're a professional, don't feel no way. We're just like you. I've been a nurse for over 11 years. And guess where I'm at? Right on YouTube, having commentary, talking to you. Because I'm a regular black girl just like her. And that's what they looked at. They said her petitioning them was suppressive. Suppressive and inconvenience, motherfucker. Excuse my language. Oh, sorry, God, I didn't mean to say that. But that's what they were saying in all words. And she's like, it only takes you 7 minutes to get here. What do you mean? How is it suppressive? And you are the person that I am supposed to talk to because you receive all the books and the money. I concede. I concede.
So you're asking if she asked for additional funds from different sources? Is that what you're asking?
Correct.
Because she made a
And
petition
what's
to
the
ask for more
relevance of
money.
that, madam?
If I asked for additional funds back in March, and that was met with a letter from the director saying she doesn't need to meet with me anymore. And I need to know what she has done to advocate for the appointed counsel in this case.
She said, I don't need to meet with you.
That'll help me with my decision as well regarding the motion to withdraw.
Go ahead, girl.
Well, madam, let me ask you a question. Are you
Black
saying
girl.
that you financially, I did read your motion in this particular case, and it's attached as part of our
lot of stuff goes
timeline
on
in this particular,
All right.
this particular matter. I believe the first exhibit
Watch what he's about to
the
do.
court referenced.
Now, let me just give you a heads up. He's going to send them outside of the court because he's going to say, y'all need to talk about this. Because if there is a discovery before the YSL trial and she brings in her pay, how much her cost of living, why she feels the way she do, because that's her case. They have to bring in the case of why they can't increase her pay, why she shouldn't get paid. Baby, and where's all the funds? Where has the funds gone? Oh my God. This Georgia. Oh, this is getting good because there's a lot of corruption here, guys. There's a lot of corruption. And yes, I'm the one that I call shit out. I'm not even talk about how many filings I made in the last 2 months, but just know God got my back. And half of those things was, oh, we're sorry. Oh, we'll handle it. Oh, it was a mistake. Yeah. Baby. Don't just fall for anything in here in Georgia.
But what are you telling the court at this point in time? Are you saying that you financially cannot afford to do this, or what?
I'm not sure what resources are available because they've refused to meet with me. I'm not sure whether there's going to be additional funding. I'm not able to take other cases. I just need to find out what the plan is.
Other
And I
people
don't know
get
what
paid
that
more
plan
than
is.
her.
And only the director would be able to explain what the plan is.
Ms. Glazer couldn't do that since she's the contracting officer?
She said she didn't want to meet with me, so I need to go to the person who's in charge of that.
So
You
I
need to
don't
go to
gotta
the
meet with
person
you.
who has all that
That's
information,
Georgia.
the one who's supposed to have all that information readily available.
Ms. Glazier, I ask all this, even with civil cases, I'm going to ask you the same thing.
I'm mad.
Is there anything that you can meet with Ms. Williams at this point in time to potentially discuss with her
I'm mad.
what her concern
Look at
or
this now.
plan going forward?
Look at this
I'd be
shit.
happy to.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is when Lashley come out. Oh, now you want to motherfucker meet with me now. After all this time, I've been calling you, writing emails to you, telling you I can't pay my bills, telling you I'm overworked, and I don't have to meet with you. I just had a flashback, y'all, of my nursing career. This didn't happen specifically like this, but I have been taught. I have been treated like a black girl. Okay. And I hope she has the facts behind her stance, because all she has to prove is that she can't survive out here in Georgia. And then I hope they have the cahootas to try to say, I ain't gonna give you no more money. That'll be exposure. So that's what's going on this part right here. Okay, let's see, can we move a little bit forward? They're gonna let them go out and talk, and then they're going to have another meeting. Like this is basically when they come back in the court. They decide after she finally talked to her, like, yeah, I'll talk to you now. This is the same chick that didn't want to be recused, like, and told her, I don't need to talk to you. I'm just a contractor. That's why you need to know the law, black people. That's why I make sure when I'm contracting with them damn agencies, I don't play no games with them. I'm here to slate. We gonna negotiate. You ain't gonna tell me exactly what it is. And let me read this, because they'll just do anything. Once they think that they can just roll over on you, especially out here, baby, they're gonna roll over on your ass. I'm sorry. Flashback.
Me time to speak with GPDC in a private meeting, and then I'd be able to update the court.
See? Now they're trying to schedule a private meeting. Okay, so this is basically the tail end of what we're waiting to hear right now with the public defender who is trying to get off of this case. And my question is, why is the other public defenders not trying to get off of this case? I wonder how the public defenders get paid. I need to talk to a lawyer and figure it out. Maybe they get paid by years, by how many cases they did. Because I don't understand why they all like, let's stick together. We're all getting underpaid. I thought everybody was on the same boat. But this is good old Georgia. It's not like that. It's not like that. Let me just give you one example, because I'm going to tell you my damn business. When I came over to Georgia, I was a nurse for already a year and a half, and I was a supervisor in Jersey. When I came over here, got a job on a nursing floor, they started me at, okay, in Jersey, I was making about $32 to start. I'm going to just keep it real. When they came to Georgia and they started me at 21. I made 31 to 21. Come to find out, new nurses who were light skinned, lighter on the lighter side, was getting more than me. You know, and they had no acts, like, don't tell, you can't ask people pay rate. That's what it was. They said specifically you couldn't ask people pay rate. This Georgia. So I believe, in my opinion, this lady ain't wrong. And I need to know why her colleagues ain't by her damn side. Especially, the other guy I talked about. That is my favorite guy, but he got another person. He may be contracted with another type of agency, because these are literally agencies who contract with the government to get these lawyers. So he may be with another agency. Because I'm like, why they ain't all complaining? What in the tail end is going on? Because you say as they get other money allocated to them as well. So the agency may get other money allocated to them based on the, percentage of good public defenders they have or whatever. You see what I'm saying? Because she talked about money being allocated, and we know it's an agency. We're just going to break that down, okay? You need to know a little bit about this damn system and why the public defenders don't fight for you, okay? They be like, baby, let me just fill these damn papers out. Here you go. What you want to do? Guilty? Wait, what's your plea? What's your plea bargain? Huh? That's all we know. Plea bargain. Allegedly. So now let's move forward. We know what's going on with her. Miss, she made me mad. This lady right here, she made me mad. I like how I like how this guy got to the judge. Okay. So now we're going on to the next part. I just want to show you, we're going to go into,
Myself.
Appreciate that. Anything else, counsels?
No, Judge, I love hanging out here, but unfortunately, I have other places that.
Shut up. He get on my nerves now. We're gonna go into the next part where what is it's right at the tip of my tongue. The the defense attorney, his name starts with an S. He's going to be talking about basically not being able to get some of the evidence.
Want me? I know that's hard to imagine.
Yes,
Anybody
sir.
would want me
Yes,
to
sir.
talk. May we please be excused?
Everybody.
Let's go. What's his name, Mr. Sparks? I don't listen to this man so
I
damn.
mean,
Okay, there you go.
around, I mean, because
This my dude.
well, and let me ask that
With
question.
YSL.
I know there were 6 dates that you all needed, and these are to examine physical evidence. Is that correct?
So,
All right. Mr.
This-
Brown, what say you, sir?
okay, so this is what it is. They supposed to be able to see the evidence that the prosecutors have, and the prosecutor's supposed to see the evidence that you have. This is the game of chess, I guess, and they're supposed to be prepared. This is how court works, okay? So you subpoena or you make a motion to get that. And usually in big trials like this, allegedly, they have some type of line of communication between the two where they're going to be exchanging all of the evidence. And it's supposed to be numbered correctly. And the other side is supposed to check it off, make sure they have everything. Because when trial come, they're going to be running that evidence through. And they may get things through that you didn't ever even saw, you forgot. So this is why they give you a chance, because sometimes evidence could be 300 piece of items, 300 pieces of paper, 100 papers, all types of stuff. Evidence is evidence. You see what I'm saying? So it has to be numbered right. It has to be going through a chain that is secured and that is monitored, and it ensures that both parties are able to see it. Okay.
Good to see you, sir. Yeah, what, do you have dates already that you've worked out with the agencies?
No, Your Honor, it was kind of contingent on her schedule as it related to when you would have us here. And
Hold on. Here we go.
We don't have them. The state they've been nothing but honorable, but Ms. Hilton mentioned that we're getting a lot more discovery in discovery number 11, and it's taken a long time to download. We were supposed to have it Friday. We were supposed to have jail calls that the state knows they're going to use by last Friday. I just still don't have it. Now, I wasn't here if we have them. I was told we don't have them. Can your court can you just make a drop dead date, all discovery by this date? Otherwise, give over every Brady, exculpatory, impeaching evidence. Otherwise, it is excluded from the trial by the prosecution under 1716.
That's right.
Because, you know,
We ain't about to do this.
we're doing our best. I'm looking at everything, but at some point, I have no idea why I'm getting an October 21, 2021 interview a month ago.
See, so basically, when this happens, they are kind of playing chess, where they're giving bit by bit mixed up evidence or things not in sequential order. And as he say, if judge, and now he's putting it on record, because if the judge does not do this, this is going to be another administrative issue. Can you give me a date specifically when the prosecutor has to give all their evidence, because there is literally things that's coming in from 2 years ago that still hasn't even downloaded yet or whatever. So he's setting up points in the case to appeal. Do you see that? This is right here. Because you got to kind of set it up where the issues are. You got to put them on the record so they can record it. He said, this for the record. Anytime they say this is for the record, that means this is important. And I'm going to come back and this is a no.
I think we had this discussion before, and that's probably part of.
Second
You
discussion.
still have several Brady and some motions in limine outstanding. So I haven't scheduled those yet, but I was hoping that what we could do is that around the time that we also set the six physical inspection days or physical evidence inspection days, that we also set some dates for you all to gather to make sure you have all your discovery.
All right. So what we're going to be looking for is 6 days of evidence being presented. Hopefully they show that on a YouTube, because I want to see it, law and crime. Please, okay? I want to see what evidence they got. First and foremost, they can't put that up there. That's gonna blow the damn trial. This is. I never really saw court cases like this. I know, like we had OJ Simpson, and it was certain things that was just mass trials, but this right here, I don't know. So I hope that they do put all of the evidence, the pretrial evidence up there so we can see what they have. But what we are going to be talking about next is actually who is Eric Nelson. How long we've been on? We've been on for about an hour already, I would assume. So we're going to basically take a word from our sponsor and we're going to get into the next hour. Okay, yes, it's another hour because Eric Nelson, we need to know who is Eric Nelson, what type of expert witness, what does he bring to the trial, because this is for the defense. And next, actually, I'm gonna try to do it Saturday. We're gonna go into Miss Prosecutor. Oh my God, this lady is a fucking stickler. She was even getting on the judge nerves. Thank you, Judge. He's like, if you say thank you one more time, she's like, okay, I'm sorry, thank you, Judge. He was everything even when he shoot her shit down, she thank you, Judge. Why are you saying thank you? This is the shit that's going on in court. So we're gonna go into that next week. I was cracking the hell up. I was like, she thought she was buying a good old kiss ass, and this judge is just floating with the whatever he feel like floating with today. You gonna be mad at you today, you gonna be mad at you tomorrow. He ain't got no favorites. He just gonna. I'm getting to know this judge. He just, I don't know. He do got a little bit of favorites though. When you see how he goes after the defense when they try to stop the prosecutor from badgering the expert witness. This is not even the damn trial. And I'm talking about they were badgering the expert witness to try to get the expert witness disqualified from the case. So this is one of the expert witness, Eric Nelson. We're not going to see him actually being badgered, but we're going to talk about his part and the key things that he talk about, because I think he's the expert in hip hop and rap music and a few other things. But before we get there, can we get a word from our sponsors?
The real estate market often seems like a distant world where only an elite of experts is successful. In a time of so much uncertainty in the air and bad news, realist investing can seem intimidating. But today, I want to tell you that if you make the right decision today, you can enter the real estate market from the back door. Bad credit record? No credit at all? Do you dread the idea of having a home loan? Do you dream of owning investment properties? You are in the right place and right time, because we have created a program which is a tax lien and deed investment online course of only 14 hours. This course is specially designed for people like you who have big dreams. You will learn at your own pace and everything from your home computer. This is your chance. Join our membership for $19.99 a year. What are you waiting for? Visit our website primetimehomebuyerBuyback.org and sign up today for course access.
All right. I am back. I had to get some agua. My mouth was dry as hell. Just talking, drinking my water into wine. All right, so let's get into our next part. What the hell is that on the screen? Let me find out. Okay, we're going to get into our next part where we're going to be moving on into who is Mr. Eric Nelson. Okay, this is Eric Nelson, and they're going to be introducing this expert witness, and we're just going to talk about why they have Mr. Eric Nelson there and the significance of him actually being an expert witness. Let's go. I'll take my mask off. Come on. He's such a geek. This one. I like him though.
If you like, you may take off your mask.
I like everybody.
Feel comfortable enough to do
So
so.
they give me a reason not to.
All right.
My name is Eric Nielsen. That's ErikNielson.
Cross my legs, y'all.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So you're going to hear the defense kind of introduce who he is and getting the idea. You're not going to see the prosecutor go after him tonight because that's a whole nother damn song and dance.
Well as all of the parties here and the other
people your educational background?
Sure. I got my undergrad at the University of Virginia. I got my master's degree in English Renaissance literature from the University College London, and I got my PhD in African American literature from the University of Sheffield, which is also in the United Kingdom.
And, Your Honor, may I approach Dr. Nielsen for a second?
You may, as long as you've shown whatever the document is to Ms. Love already.
I have.
Okay, you may approach him.
Dr. Nielsen, I want to show you what has been marked as defendant Mr. Williams, number 7. And take a peek at that and tell me whether you recognize that document.
I do recognize it.
And what is that document?
This is my CV.
And if you could just make sure, is that a complete and based upon your best testimony that that's an accurate CV as of today? Understand?
So basically, that's his background. What they're trying to do is establish his credibility. Now, an expert witness has to have some expertise in something related to the case. So in his particular situation, what I'm noticing, these expert witnesses have expertise in African American literature. One has expertise in hip hop, popular culture, and things like that. Now, you're going to hear how the prosecutor tried to eliminate these guys by basically saying that their expertise ain't got nothing to do with the damn case and a whole bunch of other stuff. But I just want you to listen to the expertise and why these particular people are chosen and what's going to be highlighted in the case. They're going to be talking about expression. They're going to be going into the development of hip hop. They're going to be going into how the rap industry, you're going to hear this, how the rap industry pushes young Black people to put out certain contexts, studies, and certain references. So these guys are in the society that writes paper about these particular subjects, okay? So I just want to give you a heads up. This guy, his connection from what I'm hearing is that he specialized in African American literature. And when you start to compare and contrast his literature across a timeline, he's going to say how that is interpreted, how it's been interpreted. Not to say that, and you're going to hear the prosecutor, not tonight. She goes like, so you're telling Black people how to interpret, people from Georgia how to interpret rap music. So it gets a little crazy, but I just want to kind of break down why it's important to get to know who this person is.
Yes, the only thing I would flag is that I'm not sure which of my memberships are still active. It depends on when you pay your dues. So I can't perfectly attest that I have paid my dues on time for every one of these organizations.
Other than that, is everything accurate?
Yes.
I mean, the scenery pointing.
The witness is present.
CV? Okay, what is it? 7?
Williams, number 7.
Wait, I can't manage it like that.
If there's no objection, then defendant 7 is admitted.
Let's move forward.
What type of position do you hold right now at your university?
I am professor of liberal arts and chair of that same department.
And I'm not saying people don't know, but for people who don't know, what does it mean to be chair of the department?
It means you run it.
It means you run it. Now, the reason why I'm showing you guys this is a significant reason why I'm showing you this, because when we see how the prosecutor treats this guy versus how he treats the second person, which is Mr. Dunbar, you're going to understand why. So he has really good credentials. He's actually a leader. He's actually in certain positions. He's actually going to talk about being involved in certain bills and laws that is created in certain states that was dealing with targeting of people through their lyrics and things like that. So,
yeah.
You're the highest figure in that?
Correct.
Okay. And what type of courses are you teaching and have you taught at the University of Richmond?
I've taught a number of courses. Most of them focus on African American literature. I've also taught classes on rap music specifically, hip hop more generally. I've taught those either just by myself, or some of these classes I have also taught with a rap artist from Virginia who co-teaches with me.
And who's that rap artist?
Shaquan Lewis, he goes by the name Mad Skills.
And Shaquan, just for the court reporter, is Shaquan?
Yes.
And Lewis, typical spelling of Lewis?
Yes.
All right. And Skills would be Skill.
Come on, get to it.
About the history and poetry of rap music.
Yes, I've taught that class at least once. I've also taught a class called Rap on Trial.
And tell us about that.
It's a class that focuses on the use of rap lyrics as evidence in criminal cases.
At the Northern Virginia Community College that you taught at, did you also teach in the same type of field? You're referring to now the type of courses.
I did. There were other courses outside of the African American literature and music focus, but yes, I did teach those courses as well.
All right. So this is what I want to say. Now, I'm not going to say that this Caucasian man is an expert on hip hop and, you know, gang violence and these type of things. What makes what he's doing important? This is why I mess with all people who are humane, who are truth tellers, and deal with God. Okay. What makes his position so good is that he was intrigued by the art of, well, you know, in my opinion, the art of rap and the development of it. And as well as he started to see a trend that went on in regards to hip hop artists, you know, not just hip hop artists, but as you say, gang culture related to rap and rap as a culture, rap as an art. So with that, over time, you don't only get to know the art of it, you start to have evidence that you build because you start to have a full picture. So over time, he has got into the realm of hip hop being used against hip hop artists. And this is not new. So with some of the case studies he has some evidence from cases that he played a part in as witnesses. I mean, as an expert witness, as well as he's going to tell you him talking to prosecutors and things like that. So I need you to understand the significance of this particular witness, okay? And how he's going to impact the case if the damn prosecutor, and she is ridiculous. You know, I'm going to tell you just about her. Some prosecutors really get on my nerves because they will be wrong. And this is how a wrong person keep going for a long time. They be wrong as hell, but they never address it. So, like, you saw how the judge addressed what the man said because he addressed it. The prosecutor, you're going to see her get kind of put in her place and just she's like, okay, thank you, and just move on, or just ask another question like she didn't just get her, just didn't get objected to, you know. And it just, I think that confused people because her mannerism, I think that's a tactic. I'm going to talk about the prosecutor already, and she's not even on the damn thing because she had me, yo. Black woman, you was acting.
Have you written?
I think that's what I'm trying to say. I think that's a tactic to make people kind of like not hone on that you just made a mistake. It's like fake it till you make it. You see what I'm saying? It's because if she would react like, they'll know like, oh, she messed up again. But when she keeps saying, thank you, Judge, you got people in the apathic, like, oh, I'm tired. Okay, she said, thank you, she's winning. Oh, she said, yo, that's what she's banking on. I'm telling you, you ever been on a juror? Be there for hours? Shit.
Any books concerning hip hop, rap?
This is credentials.
African American literature, popular music, popular culture, things like that.
Yes, I edited one book for Oxford University Press. I co-edited it, and it was called The Hip Hop and Obama Reader, and it was really it was a book that explored the complex relationship between hip hop and politics. And that was, I believe, that came out around 2015. And then
it was hip hop. He did that in the Obama era because that's how the black people started voting. That's what they do. They just put a rap artist right in front of your face and you go buy everything. Don't be mad at me, black people. You know I'm gonna tell you the damn truth. That's how half of these damn people up here scamming black people in the black community. They got one rapper to come up there on their Instagram page and you like, yeah, I love Jay Morris. Shots fired. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. One day I gotta do a live on Jay Morris. I know that I don't know this guy, but I know this guy. Like I met him, had some interactions, and it was just like God that just we was kind of standoffish. So just know we ain't gonna be Jay Morris and nobody. I don't even know how I started talking about this. He just popped in my head. We're gonna do a live on Jay Morris. We're gonna talk about his boy mentor group, his mentor group that he have, and just basically scamming the Black community. So, baby, yeah, let's go back to this. What were we talking about? I'm sorry, I got distracted.
I co-authored a book called Rap on Trial, Race, Lyrics, and Guilt in America.
Oh, yeah, I was saying how they use rap to lure Black people into buying stuff. That's what I was talking about. So the politicians, they get Cardi B up there talking about, yeah, my bananas cost too much. What you gonna do? Yeah, bananas. Yeah, and then everybody like, oh, Cardi B was talking to Biden. Now Biden ass in the office doing not a motherfucking thing. But I can see. Look, I got distracted again. We almost done.
I co-authored that with Andrea Dennis, who is a law professor at the University of Georgia, and that came out at the end of 2019.
That book, did that inspire any type of legislation?
It did.
Objection, Your Honor, as to the witness
That's her.
disability
That's
foundation. Whether or not it inspired legislation, there's been no foundation laid for such testimony.
I'll let him. I'll sustain this to form. You can go ahead and
So he sustained it as far as her objection. He said just reformat it. But basically, she's saying, so why don't we don't give a fuck? We don't give a fuck that your book went and had something to do with legislation. What does that have to do with this case? Now, you hearing her right now. Hear her voice, because this chick going to shut up. The next live, the judge even going to want her to shut the hell up. Hear her voice. It's going to be in your damn head.
praise Mr. Steele.
Do you have personal observations and knowledge whether Rap on Trial, your book that you co-authored with the Honorable Professor Andrea Dennis, had anything to do with the legislation that's going across America?
Yes.
Again, Your Honor, just the same objection, Your Honor. No foundation.
Overrule the objection.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Overrule. Meaning, overrule, sit the fuck down and shut up. You not right. And she said, thank you, Your Honor. Why she gonna get mad?
The answer is yes, I do have knowledge that the recommendations in our book were responsible for the legislation that we're seeing across the country.
And explain that legislation.
A number of states. The first one was New York, and actually the senators who sponsored that bill, a bill in New York, actually came to me early and revealed that it was the book that had inspired it. In New York,
Basis.
The relevance
Look.
of something in New York and New York law.
You see what I'm saying? So listen to this close, because you can use law from the same level in your case. I can use New York law in Georgia. As long as it's not too off, not saying like, okay, you could carry guns in Georgia and then you could come over to New York. Like, I could carry guns in Georgia. No, nothing like that. But if it's like case law where you say something that's kind of uniform, traffic stop, where somebody beat a case because they stopped at the traffic stop for 10 seconds and that was not running the stop sign. And you were able to prove that 10 seconds was a significant amount of time to be safe based on that case in another state. That's kind of like, but it has to be in the same realm. Do you understand? Can't be nothing like, oh, a state can't have totally no guns used in New York, and then you go come over with your gun. Like, yeah, well, Georgia had a state gun law. Yes, that's not how it works. Okay, so does that make sense? So for her to say, what's the relevance? It has nothing to do with Georgia. Just know when you're in Georgia, they act like this is their own damn island, and they're not connected to the United States Constitution, as well as the rest of the 52 states and the feds, until the feds put their foot on their damn neck. I can see. She get on my nerves. I'm just saying, y'all already see. Because she's just so and then try to be nice at the same time. I don't like nice nasty. I like real. Be real. Be real. Be you. Nice nasty. That's the worst devil you can get. The worst. I see right through them bitches.
To these proceedings and this witness's expertise in areas that affect this trial, and pardon me for not standing.
So because
All right, so-
like basically what she's saying is that okay, if she's trying to say you can't refer to anything out of the state of Georgia, that means that his expertise outside of the state is relevant. His schooling is relevant. All of that is irrelevant because it wasn't taking place in Georgia. If you listen to what the fuck she's saying. Now, if he sustained her objection, that's
This goes to Dr. Nielsen's experience with the issues that we're dealing with. It goes to his
my ear itch.
depth of knowledge, his training, his education level, and the things that he has done, which now turned into being consulted on legislation. It goes to his expertise.
Your Honor, and that's an attempt to bootstrap the testimony and its relevance. Whether or not he inspired someone, spoke to some legislature or someone.
The trial, girl.
His book that he co-authored is immaterial, especially as it relates to law in New York. It's immaterial to his expert qualifications in this case here in Georgia.
I'm going to go a little bit further, Ms. Love. I'm going to overrule your objection. Let him finish on that.
Overruled. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Thank you, Judge, because if he would sustain her stupid ass objection, basically you would have started setting a precedent to say you can't talk about nothing outside of the state of Georgia. If you had experience, if you was born, if you don't know nothing, everything about Georgia, if your testimony ain't got shit to do with Georgia, you can't say it. Overruled. Sit down. With your old Bertha booty. Getting on my nerves.
Can you tell me where we left off?
Yes.
It's like he's distracting me.
Tell us about the legislation that you were referring to.
It started in New York, and basically there are 6 states, I believe now, Louisiana, Missouri, Illinois, New Jersey, New York, and California. The law actually has passed in California, and there's also a bill being introduced at the federal level.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. He is talking about legislation that has been introduced. This is in no way reflected or any indication of his areas of expertise.
It's part of his background, Ms. Love. Just I'm going to weigh it anyway, so it's not like he's testifying for purposes of trial. So let me.
I'm sorry, I gotta laugh. He like, just let him talk. It does have something. See, that's where you could go overboard with the judge. So I'm gonna say this. Sometimes I always be in my head, and I'm gonna get that out of my head that the judge and the prosecutor always work together, like they teammates. But obviously, I don't know if she ain't topping him off correctly, but she's still getting on his damn last nerve. Did I just say that? Yes, I did. You never know.
I know your objection. I'm going to overrule it.
Overrule.
Okay.
Just sit the fuck down, girl.
And those bills, although maybe slightly different, what they have in common is their goal is to limit the use of artistic expression as evidence in criminal proceedings.
Thank you.
How about a book, the St. James Encyclopedia of Hip Hop Culture? Did you have anything to do with that?
Yeah, I'm on the editorial advisory board for that.
And was that published?
It was published in March of 2018.
Do you have any peer-reviewed articles or chapters in articles or publications dealing with African-American literature, music, and popular culture, particular focus on hip-hop?
Yes, I have several.
Can you educate the Honorable Court, please?
Sure. They go back to 2009. And really these articles, all of the ones I'm referring to underwent the peer review process, double-blind peer review, I believe, for all of them. And they are...
And the court knows, but just for parties, what is peer review?
So peer review is, it's a process by which you submit something to a journal, and then peers, if the process is done rigorously, peers, you don't know who's reading it and who's reviewing. They review it for quality, accuracy, and then either ask you to make changes, reject it, accept it, and that's the process that we use in the academy.
Let's keep our eyes and our mind open to this peer review topic, because this is what these experts actually use to define their expertise. And our next live, you're going to hear a lot of her try to basically dissect peer review, okay, and try to discredit peer review. The shit that this prosecutor trying to get off will set a new precedence in the courts, okay? Like literally, she's trying to disregard peer review, meaning most industries use, I mean, like medical, these type of scientific journals, psychiatric journals. That's what they use to help build credibility in the field. And I'm kind of pre-nizing some things, but this is why I want y'all to highlight what peer review is, okay, and how important it is for experts to be involved in journals and peer review things and writing not essays, but writing articles that has reference case studies and things like that. Okay, yeah, this is very important. Black community, you hear what I said? Remember.
What's double blind mean?
When I don't know who you are and you don't know who I am if you're reviewing my paper.
I don't know about that.
Continue. I apologize for
They'll be
interrupting.
double
Tell us about
blinded,
peer reviewed
allegedly.
articles and papers and publications.
Sure. So a number of them do focus on hip hop and particularly rap music. But I've written these articles have also spanned from the antebellum South through the Harlem Renaissance to the Black Arts period of the 1960s and 70s, and then obviously hip hop at present day. So I've written about African American literature, culture, music, covering more than a century.
And tell us specifically about hip hop. What peer-reviewed articles have you done in that?
The first one was it was called "My President is Black, My Lambo is Blue: The Obamification of Rap," and that was in the Journal of Popular Music Studies. That has actually since been republished 10 years later. It was dubbed a classic article by the journal, and so it's come out again with some slight revisions.
And which journal?
That is also Journal of Popular Music Studies.
Trying to say the story of the first Black president was because of hip hop. That's what they tried to say. That's why we want to republish this shit, because this is how it really happened. He wasn't supposed to be president. It was them damn hip hop artists coming behind him and shit.
One called "We Are Gone, Black Steel and the Technologies of Presence and Absence." That was also focused on the use of technology in rap music, and that was published in the journal called Popular Communication. I wrote "Here Come the Cops, Policing the Resistance in Rap Music" for a journal called the International Journal of Cultural Studies.
Hold on, sorry, y'all. Do it again.
I don't know who I am if you're reviewing my paper.
Okay. Continue. I apologize.
Sorry, y'all.
About African American literature, culture, music, covering more than a century.
And tell us specifically about hip hop. What peer-reviewed articles have you done in that?
The first one was it was called "My President is Black, My Lambo is Blue: The Obamification of Rap," and that was in the Journal of Popular Music Studies. That has actually since been republished 10 years later. It was dubbed a classic article by the journal, and so it's come out again with some slight revisions.
And which journal?
That is also Journal of Popular Music Studies.
Okay.
I've wrote one called "We Are Gone, Black Steel and the Technologies of Presence and Absence." That was also focused on the use of technology in rap music, and that was published in the journal called Popular Communication. I wrote "Here Come the Cops, Policing the Resistance in Rap Music" for a journal called the International Journal of Cultural Studies. I will say that one of these, "Making Room for Dear Mama" and rap lyrics, is a book chapter. I did not edit that book, and so I can't speak to the peer review process that did or didn't happen with
So
the
I'll
advocate, the role.
The reason why I'm letting y'all listen to this, because y'all need to know that they study us. They study everything about us. Do they study? Do you study them? Do you study them? They study us, monetize off of us, figure out how to get our asses locked up. And you know what? I was listening to this and then, it just popped in my head. I'm not biased to anything, I'm just real. But our music always been based off the reality of our life and the experiences that we went through or are going through, which most artists does with their art. So I just want to put that out there. Rap artists, y'all need to take a whole glass to shut the fuck up. Excuse my language. Y'all need to be saying exactly what y'all doing if y'all doing some things. Because this is why it's becoming a trend. But the only reason why you have people like him and other, I'm gonna keep it honest, other Europeans who are basically how can I say constitutionalists. People they have constitutionalist foundations. They will do studies like this, find out what's the disparities in their system because they know the concept of done to you today will be done to me tomorrow. And they have seen this happen. So you do have some you're good Europeans. I'm just gonna keep it real because I mess with some of them who will literally stand up because they know that once us who are allegedly the minorities, the targeted people, rights are taken, theirs are rolling right on down. We have seen it happen like a freight train over these last 5 years, 4 or 5 years. But I'm gonna take a whole glass. I can see, but I just want to tell you the significance of having people do these type of studies, as well as know they asses be studying us. You didn't know that? It's real. Don't forget it. But you're not studying them. You're not getting to know them. They study this because this is the art of war. Okay? You got to study your enemies or someone who you want to be over. I'm going to just take a whole. That's why I'm uncensored. Okay? Y'all know I'm a separatist here. I don't mind being separate but equal. I love everybody, but we all don't live the same. And I don't want you imposing your stuff on me and me imposing my stuff on you. You can be where you at in your house. I'll be where I'm at my house. But when it's time to come out and get what we need to get, we work together, go about our business. If we got to go kick some ass together, we go kick some ass together. Mutual agreement. Gotta go. Okay? That's what I call a separatist. That's me. Okay? So that's the importance of this guy and the studies that he's doing. Because obviously we ain't doing the damn studies. Because he would have had a black guy there, would have made him more relevant because this black prosecutor ass trying to get him off the damn case. So anyway, we're going to move forward a little bit more and start to wrap this up. But I wanted y'all to find out who this gentleman was. Let me make sure I got his name, Mr. Eric Nelson. And we're going to kind of get to her talking to Mr. Eric Nelson if I can. Let me see, because I think, hold on, she gonna cross-examine him just a little bit. But I want y'all to actually listen to, what's gonna happen is that she's not gonna cross-examine him on this one. She's gonna cross-examine him on the next one because I want y'all to hear her tone against Mr. Nelson versus Mr. Dunbar, who is another expert witness. She was digging in Mr. Dunbar ass so much that the judge was like, okay, please sit down. No. You object? No. Sit down. It's enough.
See, Oklahoma County in Oklahoma.
So he's talking about.
All right, Mr. Steele, you care to respond, sir?
Thank you, sir.
All his
Your Honor,
credentials.
it's a case, it's a recorded case, I have copies for everyone, I was just.
We closing off.
All right. Now.
And I would just add, it was adopted by the district court judge in full. He did.
Sure. Thank you.
He did a lot of work. He's been doing a lot of work
to
for
be
hip hop
qualified
artists.
as an expert by the Honorable Judge Glanville and permitted to testify in this case, could you, in your field of expertise, give as in letter A, by the way, in my notice, give a history based upon your expertise of hip hop?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
and
very
can
important.
you relate that to Mr. Williams, in this case, is charged with gang activity? Can you relate, not Mr. Williams' life, but can you relate generally the history of hip hop to gang violence?
Absolutely.
All right. How about if you are qualified as an expert by the Honorable Court, could you talk about the artistic traditions that preceded hip hop?
Yes.
Explain to the Honorable Court exactly what that means so that the court understands my request when I make it.
Well, although hip hop is absolutely a unique movement, and rap music is a unique genre, you can't consider them in isolation. There are a number of artistic antecedents that gave rise to rap music. So, okay, one example is when I teach about rap music, one of the first things I give my students is I give them a ballad, essentially. It would have been transmitted orally, not in writing. It's 120 years old. It's told in the first person. It's bawdy. It's laced with profanity. It's, hypersexual, and it rhymes. And so I give it to them, and they think they're reading gangster rap when in fact they're reading something that's over a century old. That's one of the many things that I try to expose them to show them that there's a long and complex evolution that gave us hip hop, not to think about it in isolation.
How about C, as in Colette, which I designated on my notice of expert testimony filed on February.
Now, hold on one second. What he's reading off is a list from A to I of basically what the expert is going to be testifying on. So he's kind of going step by step to say, okay, this is what I said in part C, how would you be able to testify? And that's is what he's saying. So he even highlighted that in one of his class, he have an assignment where he literally put some Shakespeare up there. And they asked us thinking they reading rap because it's so damn vulgar. And then he's going to go on to another thing of the interpretations. And this is literally in the setting of people of Caucasians. I don't know if they're mixed, but even though you know who runs our system. So you need to see how they perceive things. And this is how it's done through case studies. So listen.
2023. The industry, I heard you talk about it earlier, but the industry expectations for rap artists. Can you explain whether you've ever been qualified as an expert in that field and what that means to this honorable court?
Yes, I have. I've spoken. That is one of the things I think I've probably spoken about. Maybe not all, but in most of the cases where I've testified, and that's really talking about why an artist might choose to pursue a certain genre or subgenre within rap music. So, for example, gangster rap. Why do many rappers decide to pursue that particular subgenre, and explaining some of the industry factors, some of the reasons why artists might do that. Essentially, it's
industry
to fill the demand of the industry.
Fill the demand, the industry factors. So this is why he's going to be important to be an expert witness in this particular case. Guys, if you're out there doing some shit, you need to know this stuff. Because if you ever got to go to court, you better figure out how you're going to win. They like, get some experts out here and let you know they pushing us to do this. I didn't sign the contract for this, but this is what I'm pushed to do. If I write anything else, if I rap about God, my records won't get played. Okay? Huh? You're not talking about Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. Okay. I love him. I do.
How about hip hop and its business end? It's a big business. Is that true?
Yes, absolutely.
Would you be able to explain, based upon your training, your experience, your reading, your teachings, your writings, in expert fashion to people who wouldn't know, beyond their knowledge, hip hop as a global multi-billion-dollar industry?
Absolutely.
The jig is up.
How hip hop and people who come from maybe impoverished areas, men and women, and their place in hip hop. Do you have knowledge on that? Have you been qualified as an expert on that?
Yes, I mean, that's one of the things that recurs in my testimony, is explaining that for many young men and women who come from underprivileged communities where there are limited opportunities for upward economic mobility, hip hop is often viewed as one of the few legitimate ways to advance their lives and careers and families.
Talk to us about it, and I designated it as E, as in Aaron, artistic conventions of rap music. I know you've testified as an expert previously, but what exactly are you referring to? The sort of poetics of it,
the use of figurative language, metaphor, the emphasis on hyperbole or exaggeration, and other characteristics of either rap music writ large or gangster rap as a subgenre, because it has its own conventions, even as it follows some of the broader conventions that.
And now to counteract what I said about, usually artists talk about exactly how they feel or way they feel, but the way they say it is in an artistic form that may not be common with the common language. And this is where you have a gray area with them actually using artist lyrics against them, because the interpretation, like you have somebody like rah rah like a dungeon dragon, and they could like somebody be like, he was roaring like a dungeon dragon. We're gonna prosecute him. He's a dungeon dragon. See, where's the line? You see, I know hip hop, but you see, this is what he talks about metaphor and it actually being a problem that is being used in the courts. So it's a double-edged sword. You see what I'm saying, guys? You got to kind of look at it from both sides, okay? You can't just use people art form against them, even though some people are using this art form to express themselves about some of the damn things they doing, like they self-snitching on themselves, but I'll shut up. But this racketeering case is more than just self-snitching in rap lyrics. It's actually about organized crime, using industry money to make people do things, using your power, and causing a lot of mayhem in society and shit like that. It's very broad racketeering charges. So I just wanted to kind of break that down. We almost done, y'all. We almost done. I hope y'all getting a better understanding of some of the things that happened, because I was watching y'all in the comments of Law and Crime, and it was funny. Y'all was on hold for like 45 minutes. I came back, the chat still going. They out to lunch. I'm like, damn, this is a whole we in court today.
Govern rap music.
How about you ever hear and you ever testify as an expert, and is it in your field, your teaching, your experience, your writings, and your books, battle rap? Do you know what I'm referring to?
I do.
Well, what is battle rap?
Well, battle rap is it's actually kind of works. It's
terrible.
The battle rap scene is a scene that exists sort of in parallel or in tandem with mainstream rap music. And so battle rapping, and there are plenty of rap battles within mainstream rap too, but battle rap is really where two people, often in front of dozens, if not hundreds, if not more than that, onlookers, will stand face to face and trade in rhyme form insults, threats, and everything in between, and then the audience determines who got the best of whom.
Now, I'm gonna tell you now, I'm an 80s baby. I grew up on Run DMC. My birth father was actually into DJing, so I had a little taste of that when he was in my life for a little while. I had to put that out there. But with that goes to say, I love music. I love all types of music. But what I can't say, that battle rap is just like, it's straight, like it's on the same level as rock and roll to me. This shit is demonic. And it's battle rap is just like drill music. That's the preemptness of drill music. Actually, gangbanging is the preemptness of gangbanging, and I think in battle rap, because the things that they say in drill music and battle rap is outlandish. I be like, yo, this is ridiculous. It's like Dirty Dozens on crank. Okay, we used to do Dirty Dozen. See, and that's still an artistic form as Black people, where we used to sit there in the kitchen, just crack jokes on each other, 4 o'clock in the morning, saying all types of shit, talking about your auntie, and your auntie is my mother, all types of shit. But we just kind of like having fun, but it's not a literal thing. So this is the advancement of hip hop. I'm just gonna keep it real, okay? Dirty Dozens into trap music. And then we got drill music. And that damn battle rap is terrible. I feel like an old lady when I talk about battle rap. I'm like, oh no. Back in the day, we were better than that.
How about where there is a feud potentially between rappers?
Right. So,
and how that works in advertising.
okay, yes. So what I just mentioned was the battle rap scene, but rap beefs, or what we call diss tracks, songs that are disrespectful to another artist, are extremely common. They've been around about as long as rap music has been. Every well-known rapper at some point that I can think of anyway has engaged in this, and often multiple times. And these feuds are often not what they appear to be. They are often marketing ploys. So you act as if you dislike this person, or you want to say something disrespectful. That person does it back. People think, oh, wow, there's a fight happening here. And then all of a sudden you just generated attention for yourself. It's a well-known marketing tool.
I think that's what I
Used
think.
for promotion.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Tekashi 6ix9ine was a tool to get these type of cases move forward. I think he was the industry plant. I do agree with many people who say that the way he moves, how they push him through the algorithm. I didn't even watch this video. It somehow popped up in my algorithm. 7.1 million people watch him. Who the fuck is watching this Mexican boy culture appropriate? So, and he caused a lot of issues in the industry, and he created a precedent with his case. And they about to roll over on everybody. They're about to roll over on a lot of people. These courts gonna be fucking filled with evictions, filled with court cases of defamations from stars trying to sue bloggers and shit. You're gonna have lawyers, you're gonna have politicians trying to sue judges. I bet you this is gonna get crazy because people are very sensitive right now, and they don't know how to interpret or don't even want to interpret, and they let their emotions lead their life. Like, it's ridiculous. Somebody say what you want about my ass. I guess I'm from Haiti. We are heard the worst shit, baby. I walk down the street with ashy feet, and you say I'm ashy. Look at this ashy feet chick. I don't give a fuck, baby. I got feet. Shit, baby. I got two. What?
How about what I designated as F as in Fox, the prejudicial nature of rap music?
Yes, I've spoken about that, and that's a topic of almost an entire chapter of our book.
And Your Honor, with respect to this, that question and the prejudicial nature of rap music, I would ask that the court require clarification unless the court just wants me to handle it on the cross. Because
The prejudicial rap music. Okay, so we're gonna start right here. And I want y'all to remember this right here, the prejudicial of rap music, because there's items A to I that the defense want these actual expert witness to talk about. And they're going to end up ruling on what they can talk about and can't. So let me see if what the judge says, because I think he's going to let him come in. And I think he can actually speak on most things.
Yes, not only does my research show that, they...
Hold on.
Hell, the state's evidence that this is clearly just gang-related. I offer this honorable court to please consider and please accept Dr. Eric Nielsen as an expert in the fields that I have identified, A through I, in the previous expert notice of expert testimony filing on February 8th that I believe the court has pulled up. And the bigger category is, and I made it simpler because I thought it would be appropriate to put the state on notice, but the biggest category is African-American literature based upon Dr. Nielsen's education and his master's degree and his teachings in literature, music, and popular culture, and particularly, Your Honor, we will be focusing on hip-hop and then more particularly on rap.
All right.
That is why I offered Dr. Nielsen
What's
as
his
an expert.
name again? Starks? I love this guy. I forgot his name because there's a lot of Still. His name is Still, because there's a lot of lawyers with that last name Still. So basically, he's trying to get this gentleman into the court to be an expert witness. Now we have another part to this expert witness testimony. This is not the damn trial, y'all. This is just them trying to set up shop for the trial. So we're gonna come back probably Saturday night. It's the Sabbath. I ain't trying to play with that too much, but I don't want to wait all the way to next Wednesday because I have a full schedule. But most likely, I'm going to try to come Saturday at 9:00. We're going to get into actually the prosecutor getting into Mr. Nelson. You're going to see how she handled Mr. Nelson, but you already see his credentials, okay? And then we're going to bridge into how she's actually handling the other expert witness, which is Mr. Dunbar. And she handled him like a damn pit bull. She was like, this, if the first expert witness coming through, you ain't coming through too. So we're gonna be going through that because she annoyed the hell out of that motherfucking judge that day. I was laughing. I was like, okay, maybe he ain't that biased because she getting on his motherfucking nerves. He's like, okay, ma'am, sit down. Just sit down. Just sit down. So anyway, this has been a really long broadcast. I want to say I appreciate you guys. You already know that I'm riding this to the wheels fall off when it comes to YouTube and the Enlightenment page. We have one more strike. I pray to God we don't get it, but it is what it is. If we do get another strike, you already know we are located on Rumble. Okay, we do have a Rumble page. We're building up our subscribers. And obviously you see that there's a lot of Black content creators that's moving over to Rumble. So check me out. We're there, as well as that I'm live on Facebook almost 4 or 5 days a week. Either we're talking about healthcare topics. As you know, I'm an expert nurse. I'm a nurse. So Facebook been really bigging me up. Like, girl, just let the Black girl talk. Because I think Facebook know that Black people was just leaving. And something changed on Facebook. They like Black artists, hold them up because we was fucking gone. I haven't even been on Facebook. All of a sudden, you have this. I'm like, damn, why I got so many notifications? They pushing us through the algorithm. So I do go live on Facebook. Shout out to Facebook. I think it's because I made an announcement allegedly. I don't know if it's true, but it was that Zuckerberg was being kicked out of Facebook. I don't know. That was a couple of months ago. I haven't got a follow-up, but just know if it happened, I said it first, baby. But I'll see y'all actually possibly on Saturday night. We're going to go into part 3 of the YSL trial review. Y'all know I love this shit. Y'all know I gotta love it. We see all these hours talk about some damn judges and courts and stuff like that. These are things that we have to know as Black people because we can't be using our emotions doing stupid shit and then be like, no, we just not guilty because God said we ain't guilty. Well, let's see how the European nation and the European court system is actually weighing you. So you could come in standing on at least a half a leg because we 3/4 a person allegedly. But I would take a whole glass and shut the fuck up before they take me off. Gotta go.
Answer. Because you are that, you are capable. You are gifted and you are so unique. All of the things that you may hate about yourself are your strengths. It's okay to be soft. It's okay to be opinionated. It's okay to be different. And it's so okay to just be you. The world awaits to receive you.
Would you like to learn a brand new and innovative way to invest your extra money that has a low barrier to entry and low competition? What if I told you that it is a guaranteed method to get up to 18 to 20% return on your investment? Tax lien and deed purchasing is the only way to get into the real estate market through the back door. No credit and no loans needed. This method isn't commonly taught and therefore the competition is very low, for now. Put together a 14-hour info-packed course which will teach you everything you'll need to know to get started. Learn at your own pace, step-by-step guided video and aids to start you on the TLC deed investment process. The course offers many learning tools for new investors, helping ensure you safely invest in tax liens and deeds. Contact us today and join the buyback team.